Middays with Mark. James in Spokane, Washington. You are on the air with Congressman Pocan.
Yeah, gentlemen. Mark, I'm not trying to be mean at all. I'm not trying to hold your feet to the fire. But it seems that most progressives, as you and Bernie, believe that the war on drugs need to be mitigated, if not summarily ended. Just wonder, where are the legislative proposals? I haven't heard of any in the 50 years of this horror show.
Yeah, I'll tell you, James, to be honest, most of them are around marijuana. And quite honestly, this is one where I think the people, again, are ahead of elected officials. We're watching these state initiatives that people are supporting to legalize marijuana. You don't see the same push on, I think, some other harder drugs that you do see on marijuana. But I think marijuana is a huge portal to our prison system, and that's been the one that gets the most attention. And there are multitudes of things introduced around that in particular.
Okay, Diane in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Hey, Diane, thanks for listening to Sirius XM. What's up?
Oh, my gosh, my first time to be on here. Now I have to get really focused. Well, first of all, what keeps coming up for me, as long as we have Citizens United allowing our senators and the whole mess there taking special interest money, we will always have this problem. I call Thom Cotton every day. I ask this question every day, and I do not get an answer. I've never gotten a letter. They just kind of pat me on the head because I know how much money he's taking from special interest, and it's so much more than he's getting from his salary. I even went to his town hall.
So, Diane, what's your question for Congressman Pocan?
Well, I mean, how do we resolve this issue as long as we have senators taking outside money? We will always have this issue.
Okay, Congressman.
They'll always vote.
No, Diane, I hear you. Here's a recommendation, because when you call the office, and as you said, they pat you on the head. I understand what you're saying, because I hear it from many people when they call offices. They don't feel like it's messages getting sent anywhere. But Thom Cotton's going to travel your state, and for the next month, 5 weeks, he's going to be back home. You need to make sure you try to get in front of him, whether it be trying to schedule a meeting in his office, going to events he's at, public meetings, if he has a town hall, and raise the issue, and don't just accept that brush off as the answer, because you're right. I mean, Citizens United is damaging to our democracy, but we need to really get in people's faces on this, and I think the best way you can do that is you've got 5 weeks and maybe a little less in the Senate, because they're going to stay a little longer, to get them while they're home in your home.
Reed in Rockford, Illinois. You're on the air with Congressman Pocan.
Hello.
Hey, Reed, you're on the air.
Yes. I did a little research the other day looking up anarchy, and it talks mainly about not wanting any government. And it occurred to me that maybe this is partly what refers to the newcons or the libertarians. They don't want government. Maybe we should start talking more about anarchy.
Okay, Congressman.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I mean, the fact that the Tea Party don't fundamentally believe in government, but then they run for office to run it, does sound a little bit like anarchy. The problem is it's in the view they see. I always thought the Tea Party was half created by racism, half created by people who do have fundamental libertarian, anti-government beliefs, and we've got this weird hodgepodge that's become the Tea Party. But I understand the point Reed's trying to make.
Yeah, okay. Dwayne in Warren, Michigan. Hey, Dwayne, you're on the air with Congressman Pocan.
Hey, Tom. Great to talk to you. First time, long time. Excellent program. Congressman, nice talking to you too, sir. I've heard that the Supreme Court is going to take up gerrymandering next session. If this is in your wheelhouse, can you tell us a little bit about what you know about it and if we can get a favorable result?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, it's based on a case from my home state in Wisconsin, where we have argued that the Republicans in the legislature successfully gerrymandered districts very seriously. And because of it, the case is going to the Supreme Court this fall. So we're expecting, I believe, October, maybe November-ish, to have the full debate. And we're hoping, at least in Wisconsin especially, that we'll get something that we can get new maps. But, clearly when you look at Wisconsin, I think we had 100,000 more votes for Democrats for Congress than Republicans, and yet the Republicans have 5 of the 8 seats. And the same thing on our state legislative seats. And this isn't just true of Wisconsin. It's true of your state in Michigan, Pennsylvania, a lot of other places. So this is a big case that could have national ramifications, and we're hopeful that we can have some success in the Supreme Court on this.
Tom in Media, Pennsylvania. You're on the air with Congressman Pocan.
Yes, Congressman, I just have a quick question. I'm a union person and a union representative. I've been one for 26 years. Do you support, getting rid of the Cadillac tax, which threatens many of the quality of the health care that we have now? And if you do, what would you replace it with another tax?
Yeah, Tom. So, in fact, the Progressive Caucus has made part of our budget provisions going back, I think, now 3 years, getting rid of the excise tax. I don't really, the vernacular is the Cadillac tax, but it's a tax that, quite honestly, people who've negotiated good health insurance packages in lieu of salary now are going to be negatively impacted. What we've always argued is if you have a public option, that would more than make up for any loss in revenue that you'd have through getting rid of the excise tax. So I think that's one of the main things we would suggest. But, we've been out there as a Progressive Caucus now, I think, for 3 years saying that we should get rid of that assessment through the excise tax.
Chris in Albuquerque, New Mexico. You're on the air with Congressman Pocan.
Thanks for taking my call, Congressman. I'm a case manager for individuals with disabilities here in New Mexico, and all of the individuals that are on the developmental disabilities waiver, they wait anywhere in the area of 10 to 15 years for developmental disabilities waiver services. All of the individuals rely on Medicaid. So a health care bill such as what they're proposing would not only, hurt and possibly, end up in the result of death of individuals, but all of the service providers as well. I guess my question to you is, where are the Democrats in talking about how the Affordable Care Act is helping individuals? And I'm urging people to reach out to the Republican senators that voted no, and I would guess that those Republican senators have heard from their constituents that depend on Medicaid as well. So that's my question to you: is why aren't they getting out there and talking about, the positive effects of the Affordable Care Act?
Well, and we are. Over and over and over we are. And in fact, we see now in public opinion, people support the Affordable Care Act. They're still not too sure about Obamacare. Again, the irony is they really went after Obamacare in their attacks. But we've now got people supporting, the vast majority supporting the Affordable Care Act. And often we talk about, especially on the Medicaid side, as you pointed out, people with disabilities, seniors in nursing homes. That's all part of that Medicaid population. It's not what the Republicans try to tell you, someone who's too lazy to work getting Medicaid. In reality, it's a lot of different populations. So I think you just got to keep those stories up. Make sure your local media are reporting your local stories. Nothing is stronger than that. Having someone in Albuquerque tell their personal story to the local media helps put the pressure on your representatives in New Mexico.
So he should call the local TV station and say, I'd like to talk to a producer. I've got a story.
Yeah, find out who's been covering that story in the newspaper as well, who's been covering stories around healthcare locally, and reach out to that person and say, hey, I've got someone I want to share a story of. This is someone who's getting Medicaid dollars who needs it to survive.
Right. Or if they see a story in the newspaper, that's